Glenn Segel lives and works in London. He's been teaching since 1984 and has been a supply teacher for the last 6 years. In 2003, he published a book which is full of practical advice. His survival guide must work as he's taught in over 80 schools and lived to tell the tale. In this programme, Glenn gives us his thoughts on how to get the basics right when doing supply teaching in primary schools. It's all very well writing a book, but the obvious question is, how does Glenn's advice work in practice? We sent him to a school he's never taught him before, Westbury Park School in Bristol.
I need a supply teacher today because Richard, the normal teacher in Year 3, is out on a ICT course and he can't be in 2 places at the same time.
Ideally, when you know that you're going to be at a school, you should be there at least half an hour beforehand.
Well, that sounds good. Yeah.
When you arrive at school, you should have the attitude that it is up to you to actually find out what you're supposed to be doing during the day. You introduce yourself, you would say, I'm Glenn from the supply agency or the LEA. I've come here to teach Year 3, Key Stage 2. Where's the staff room? Do you have a plan of the school? Is there anything special I should know about? And when you ask them the questions such as those, you get immediate responses, you get answers. And within 5 minutes or so, you actually know what is expected of you. First of all, you find out which lesson you're covering, which class you're covering, if there are any special requirements of any special children inside the classroom.
Have a word first and then go over to the classroom and arrange the resources for the day.
Great. Okay, well, I'll leave you with Bob.
Get the plan of the day if one is available. And find out which classes you are teaching and where. Sometimes the classes do move.
A brief note outlining.
So what's the school expecting of Glenn today?
A good supply teacher has to be flexible because when he or she enters the school and the classroom, is unaware of what's going to be happening that day, is unaware of what abilities the children might be, and the supply teacher has to establish an effective working relationship very quickly, and also sets out very clear boundaries, what is expected in terms of behaviour and the quality of the work produced.
Taking time to get familiar with the resources in the classroom before the pupils come in helps Glenn greet them in a confident manner.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mr. Segel. It's spelled on the board for you, S-E-G-E-L-L. I'm going to be taking you from numeracy, which we're going to start off with. And after that, we're going to do literacy. Benson?
It might be a good idea to allocate monitors during registration. Who's going to hand out and collect the material and the books in each lesson, so they know what to do. It gives you more time for teaching and for learning. At the start of each lesson, the children who've been allocated those tasks immediately go and do it.
But how will he go about building that vital rapport with the class?
When you first enter the classroom, you are the stranger. This is their home. It might have been their home for the last 5 years. The first thing that you really have to do is listen to what they have to say.
What about this then?
Don't give them instructions, listen. Then ask, and they will respond by what they feel is important. And by listening, asking, and then telling them, you actually build that rapport. The other way around, the children feel that they've been given instructions. They feel their territory, their space is being invaded.
Can someone tell me what you think you should be doing? Great. Yes. You finished? Okay. What you need is a 5. Where's a 5? Because you didn't put a number next to each. Ooh. But well done. You got the quickest in class so far, okay?
On the wrong page.
No, that's okay. You can carry on that page. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay?
I think every new teacher, after finishing the university degrees, believes that they know everything and will walk into a classroom and begin to write copious amounts of information on the board, as if you're filling an empty space or vacuum in a student's head. Sort of naively believe that they're going to simply take this in and understand it. But as a supply teacher, obviously you don't know what your caliber of your student is. You don't know how willing they are to respond. So you have to first of all ascertain that.
So you say 2 times 6. Now, if I had to roll the dice again, I got 5, okay?
Glenn's continual assessment of how the pupils are coping with the work helps him build that rapport.
The more praise you heap on the children, the more willing they are to respond to what you have to tell them in terms of learning.
Well done, you're getting the right answers. Well done, Evie.
So you never say, that's wrong. You say, that's an interesting answer, but perhaps we should do it this way. It will come out with a different answer, which might be a lot more interesting. What do you think? And by praising students in that way, you find that the response and the learning that would happen in a day is far greater than being the sage on the stage.
With numeracy over, Glenn uses the break to talk to the teacher in the parallel
Well, I
class.
mean, it's fairly clear from here.
Yeah,
really.
that's straightforward.
And then to get them to write a sentence on their whiteboard using one of the words, making sure they've got capitals and full stops.
After his consultation, Glenn prepares for literacy, and to provide continuity with the regular teacher's methods, he uses the standard 4-part lesson plan. Glenn is now firmly in regular teacher mode.
Who can tell me what a table of contents is?
It's where it says words that...
As a supply teacher in a school for the first time, you should expect and understand the need for a visit from senior staff.
And it's not there. Well, think for yourself. What is a factory?
I leave them for a certain amount of time to establish a relationship with the class, and then I go in to see if they need anything and to make sure that there is, because what I'm looking for is a workmanlike buzz, that the children are on task.
Good.
Well, if we're going to use the content, see if we lost this.
Yeah.
We could just flick it all the way back, but we just do.
Right, have a very good rest of the morning, and I'll see you at lunchtime. Right, bye.
I want you to put your hand on your throat, say the word could. Could. And the third key word was? Glossary. Well done, you remember now. Okay, off to lunch.
During lunch, Glenn reflects on an important lesson he learnt a long time ago. Be prepared. Make sure you bring to the school a bag packed with useful material for the day ahead.
The first thing which you really need to have is pre-planned material. Have one literacy, one numeracy pack for each year and each key stage ready to take out of your bag, and any other subject material which you require to teach in a day.
So apart from worksheets, what else is in Glenn's bag? A pencil case with board markers and black and red pens. A portable memory stick with presentations for use on the whiteboard. A water bottle for when you have to miss break. And, most importantly of all, a book of local maps to find the school.
Have the whole day planned in your mind of what you are going to actually do. When you first arrive at the school, you know which lesson is going to come first, numeracy or literacy, and what afterwards, and what other subjects the students are going to be undertaking throughout the day. So you make certain that you have a full day planned ahead of you, and more time can then be devoted for learning and teaching to happen.
Does anybody have any further questions about what you've learned?
In order for Glenn to teach effectively, he needs to be in control of the class. So what are his thoughts on classroom management?
You should be fully aware of the fact that occasionally the students may take advantage of you in terms of thinking that they can get away with a lot more than they could with their regular teacher.
Right, fold the worksheets over, put them in your books. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
So you have to make it known from the onset that no matter how much enthusiasm and how much play activities you introduce into your classroom to create the rapport, you really have to have that level of strictness, that they know who's in charge.
Come on, back table. 1.
As well as having a confident approach to discipline, Glenn believes in being consistent with his methods.
Don't set rules in the classroom as a stranger which might impinge upon what the students normally do. Don't say, oh, we have to all sit quietly every single minute of the day. Set a rule and say, I don't mind if you discuss the material in pairs, so long as you are working.
In Glenn's experience, moving around the class while they're working reinforces his relationship with individual pupils.
What you really have to be doing is moving around. You're going to be looking at students' work. You're going to be encouraging them, praising them, marking as you go along. That is part of the learning process. Showing them what to do. Try, when you actually look at the books, flip so they can barely notice the front cover so you see their name.
I'm going to roll to my class.
Right, Rebecca. Well done, Ozzy. After 2s, I want you to do 3s now.
When you say a student's name, they actually develop some sort of understanding you are talking to them, as opposed to the introduction to the lesson, when you're talking to 25, 30 or even more students. But when you're moving around, you become individualistic in your teaching. It's a one-to-one basis. And you only need 20 or 30 seconds in order to effectively introduce a one-to-one teaching pattern.
7, 8, 9.
And what is Glenn's final thought? Complete all the paperwork before you leave.
At the end of the day, your students leave, but that's not the end of the day for you as a supply teacher. There are certain formalities which you have to still complete. The most important, obviously, is to let the regular teacher know what you have done. So you fill out a pro forma or 1 page. You make certain all the work has been marked of all the students. There's nothing worse than leaving a mess for a regular teacher who's been sick the previous day. And quite naturally, you want to be remunerated for your efforts, and that is getting your timesheet signed. The more professional you are from the start to the end of the day, the more likely you'll be invited back to the same school the next time that they need somebody.
Yeah, perfect.
To sum up a supply teaching day is to arrive not knowing what to expect, to be a regular teacher through the day, as if this was any other teaching day, and to leave not knowing where you're going next, but to have felt that you have taught, the students have learned, and you have achieved something, and they have achieved something. That is a day in the life of a supply teacher.